Alright, so here we are for probably my personal highlight just because of accessibility, and that is going to be Elisa. Now, why would I be talking about accessibility? The answer is she's going to be a fusion, and we already know when. Man, those menus, no one ever finds anything, but here we go. Elisa the Shadow Dwelling Scalekin will arrive on the 6th of August, which is in around basically 3 weeks. In 3 weeks we'll get her, and I mean it's already here, right? Ideal for GR3, so we have to test this one. So we're going to have a look at the kit, what kind of numbers she can pull off, and then yeah, GR3 to see how good she actually is. Alright, now let's talk a bit about gear straight off the bat. Obviously Sorbonne Arcana, best in slot. Maybe not. Infernal Roar should be the very best for her because she obviously only boosts her basic attacks, she only interacts with her basic attacks, and with the fact that you are placing her in and taking her out, stacking Sorbonne Arcana should be more difficult, so Infernal Roar is by far going to be the very best, though what we're going to use her for, we don't even need all that good gear. So, what a smooth way to get into GR3. So GR3 will be tackling it with all epics on stage 21, obviously no power of dominance, and this is going to be our team. Volca, okay? Everybody has Volca, we don't count her as a legendary, alright? So, what we'll be looking at is her in this basic gear right here. You could probably go even worse, but we have high attack because she's gonna be off to the side alone without a Dolores. Some attack speed because it benefits her basic attacks, some crit rate, and then some extra attack, some extra crit damage. And artifact wise, we can probably downgrade to a Spirit Siphon standard, which should still work. Next up we have Liam. So for Liam, you don't need exactly those stats. What you do need is high attack speed, high rage regen, and then health if you can manage it, but it's not needed because the way we'll be playing this, he shouldn't take a hit regardless. Idril is the only one that has good gear. Idril is the only one that has good gear, and the way we got her to 260% crit rate is by crit damage is by having 1 attack percent piece, 2 crit damage pieces, and then attack percent crit rate crit damage and attack percent crit rate crit damage on the left side with an Idril scale at 25. So Idril is going to be as usual the main lifter here. But if you do swap out Liam for like a Silas, you don't necessarily need your Idril to be as good. We could maybe we would be able to go a bit lower. Then we have Maul. Maul is also in the Night Terror set with rather high attack, rather low crit damage, decent attack speed, decent crit rate, and a +10 Sharpshooter's Crest. That also already covers all the DPSs. Then we have a Laurel. Laurel we should actually be running an Invigoration set instead of whatever this mix here is, because her gear truly doesn't matter at all. And if we're lucky, we're actually going to be able to put it onto Idril. Next off we have Dolores. Dolores, just high attack, high rage regen, as in 40%, and then we don't even need a Golden Scarab. We can downgrade to a Keen Wisdom. So that is our Dolores. Next off we have Volca. Volca's in a full tank gear. Honestly, it doesn't matter what you give her. Just give her high HP, a measure of defense, and whatever artifact you want. Could be a 25, could be a +10. It's really of no effect whatsoever. So we're just gonna give her, this is also a 25, whoops. Let's just give her this one. It's whatever. Then we have Hollow. So Hollow is going to be in a standard high attack speed, so 525, high rage regen, so 150%, and then decent attack, decent HP. So HP wise we are at 28,000, 32,000. I think you need like 20 something if you want to survive the attacks from the boss, and that should be your HP baseline to aim for. Artifact wise we have a Golden Scarab, though honestly we can also go with what would you go with? Sure, a Euphoric Orb at 10. Alright, so then let's get straight into the stage. Okay, so we'll be opening it up with Idril, following it up with Dolores. And then as soon as we hit 9 cost, it's time to place in Liam. So there we go. Let me move myself out of the way so you can actually see the ultimates. Over here should be fine. So as soon as Dolores hits 95%, that is when you trigger your Idra ultimate. So Dolores ultimate becomes ready instantly. So you can start with the boosted shots. Next up, we'll be using Laurel and removing her instantly, and then fast forwarding time. Next step is Maul. Once more fast forwarding time. And then as soon as you hit 17 cost, we'll be bringing in Hollow so that Maul doesn't die. There we go. And Hollow is then from there on basically your main tank for this situation right here. So as soon as the middle unit dies, that's when you can trigger Dolores to actually enhance Idrit's shots and also trigger these ultimates right there. Alright, so here we go straight into the stage, opening it up with Idril, following it up with Dolores. So goal right here is going to be to, as soon as we hit 95% rage on Dolores, trigger Idrit's ultimate to use the A3 to make Dolores' ultimate instantly ready, so like this, and then to bring in Liam. Next up we'll be going with Maul. And then bringing in Hollow. So there we go, so far so good. Hollow would have also kept Idril alive. And then right here we bring in Laurel and take her out. Activate Hollow's ultimate. Let Idril get some extra rage. Then trigger Dolores. Then trigger Idrit's ultimate to take care of that flying enemy. Activate Maul. And bring in Elisa. So Elisa's job here is going to be invisible and to start laying into this, into that guy. And the reason why we want that is so that we can weaken him and place in Brienne. So Brienne in early allows Brienne to generate some extra rage while being stationary. And that overall then just allows Brienne to ult against enemies right there, which is the way we want this to do. So now you might be wondering, okay, why aren't you using Elisa? Why aren't you using Elisa to deal with all the enemies right there? And the answer is quite simple. She can't. She mainly does single target damage, and even in the big set I showed you before, right? The one with 200% crit rate, Infernal Roar, 200% crit damage, Infernal Roar, high attack, yada yada. She still wasn't able to do all that much. So the best use case I have found for her, besides the fact that she gives the Lord bonus, which is ridiculous, is using her to allow Brienne to get onto the field earlier, which allows your Brienne to get her ult off earlier and easier. So yeah, so far so good. Next step is going to be waiting out basically the perfect moment. So here comes the basic attack, which means you can bring in Laurel and then trigger Brienne's ultimate after the split shot with Laurel's extra boost. So she's gonna be dealing some extra damage right here, 20% more damage. And then she can basically already take care of everyone by herself, which is obviously pretty good. But even if she couldn't, right here you would be activating Dolores to take care of the middle guys, Hollow to make the next shot empowered, obviously remove Laurel to then empower the next shot, take out Brienne, and then just fast forward. So right here we're also getting a significant window of actually hitting the boss. Here once more this guy comes in, so we bring in Elisa, whatever, right? we bring in Lizard Girl, and she's gonna do a very, very nice job. of dealing with that enemy, especially because Eagle is out of ultimate gauge and there's no shot Eagle could actually take out the right side guy, which also means we can save our ultimate for the moment we actually wanted to, which is really, really nice. So what we're going to be doing here is once more trigger Idris ultimate, trigger Dolores ultimate, trigger Hollow's ultimate, wait for this one shot here to then use Brienne, and now it's kind of just a question of tanking a shot so that Brienne doesn't get hit twice. So right here we can trigger Idris ultimate, Laura dies, we start working on the boss. We can use Maul's ultimate on the left side. Beautiful. We can trigger Dolores to help out a bit on the over there. And then Brienne should slightly be ready. What you can do here is, instead of having everything like this cleared out, you could have also placed down Brienne in a bit later, or given Laura tank gear, right? So you could give Laura tank gear, and if you face Hollow to the right, Hollow is going to permanently heal her so she wouldn't die. So yeah, that is 321 done, all epics. And Elisa, she's not super strong, but she has huge quality of life. Now, honestly, where would I see her if it isn't GR3? Honestly, any stage where you need the Lord bonus, she's obviously going to be amazing. But she also kind of feels like a Lunaria in the sense that you wouldn't really place her down. Now, with the emergence of Void Rift Epilogue and such, like the tower, we're seeing more and more stages where we're going to have to place down 10 units. And I do feel like she is going to play maybe even a bigger role, probably a bigger role than Lunaria when it comes to content where you actually have to use 10 units, because of the fact that Lunaria is magic damage and she's piercing damage. So yeah, alright, so here we go. What damage can she actually put out, because she is a single target marksman. Yeah. And the following team is gonna be her, Silas, Hex, standard Rage Region combo, so Hollow, Laurel, Dolores, with Volker, and then Wrath, Deimos, and Ares, because why not? So yeah, what are we looking at, what are we dealing with? We are looking at the following stats, so around 200% crit damage, 100% crit rate, 300 attack speed, 250% attack, and Spirit Siphon at 25. Competing against Silas in also Infernal Roar, bit worse stats, and also Spirit Siphon. Hex, Sorbonne Arcana, around similar stats to Silas, bit less attack speed, and a Spirit Siphon. Hollow in standard Rage Region, so high attack speed, high Rage Region, decent-ish attack and HP with an Euphoric Orb. Laurel in tanky set, so we can determine when to pull her. And yeah, that's basically it. Spellcaster's Echo is absolutely useless, put on whatever you want. Hey, Wrath is going to be 230%, yeah, 200 attack speed, 100% crit rate, 200% crit damage, so 200, 200, 200, and a 10 of his exclusive artifact. Ares, 200% attack, 200 attack speed, 97% crit rate, 190% crit damage, and a Ram tier. Deimos, and probably the strongest gear we have, which is going to be 240% attack, 300 attack speed, 100% crit rate, 230% crit damage, as well as a Ram tier at 25. Volker in tank gear, but it's honestly pretty unimportant what she's running. And then Dolores in just high attack, 40% rage region with a keen wisdom. Alright, I do not know what to expect. You don't know what to expect. Let's have a look at the damage. Okay, so how are we going to play this? Probably by giving Invigoration here, Placing down Hex. Sadly, we don't have Invigoration. Should be fine. If you want to make it better than I do, put Invigoration on Hollow and Invigoration on Dolores. So there we go. And then Deimos. Oh, Invigoration on Volker too. Helps. Here, Volker just for the extra Nightmare bonus. In and in. So right here we can trigger Hex's ultimate early. Because Hex's ultimate just lasts rather long. And we can go with Ares and Silas. Dolores ult. Pull Laurel. Put in Elisa, who should now for the next 40 seconds, or however long her invisibility holds, right? Because if her invisibility holds, she also has increased damage. But yeah, basically we're placing her in and removing her whenever Laurel becomes ready again. So here we go with Dolores instantly, Hex instantly, Silas instantly, basically just instantly our units. We can fast forward time. She's still invisible, which means she still does her increased damage. Another ultimate here. There we go. She's not invisible anymore, which means we pull her. Bring in Laurel, pull her out. And then we bring in Volker for the remainder, even though she won't quite do as much, because Ares basically fits her role, or other way around, she fits Ares' role. But whenever Ares' ultimate isn't up, we can still get some value out of her. So the way we'll be doing this is by using her ultimate right here, and then pulling her. Now honestly, for 16 seconds I think that's too short, so we're actually going to wait until Laurel is placed in, triggering any ultimates possible in the meantime. So we're going to be taking with us Dolores' ultimate, pulling her, and then there we go. Okay, time to fast forward time a bit. Alright, 17,000 at 230. Obviously nothing super crazy, but also not that bad. Not that bad. The big part is how much is she actually doing? Is she actually doing anything? Who knows? Who knows? So 26 at 2 minutes, which is pretty good. Now we can take her out. Put in Laurel. Take Laurel out. Put in Volker. And use ultimates. Alright, so far so good. Use Hex's ultimate as soon as it comes up. So we might actually be hitting 30k with this team, which is pretty impressive. 50k, because if you do have 30k before the next shield phase, you're at least on the right path, right? So remove, use ults, and here we'll just be waiting these extra 15 seconds. And I guess what I'm forgetting is the fact that we don't have a 60-second respawn timer, nor do we have a 45-second respawn timer. No, we have a grand and glorious respawn timer of only 30 seconds on her. So all ultimates that are important are triggered, which means we can then place her in. Use Hex's ultimate, fast forward. Use Silas' ultimate. Dolores didn't proc, so Dolores' talent didn't proc, which is why she's not instantly ready here, which is a DPS loss. That's for sure. Once more we go with Deimos. And Ares when he's ready. Alright, so she's visible again, time to pull her. Put in Laurel, take Laurel out, activate the important ultimates, bring in Volker. Okay. Interesting. We're getting suspiciously close to 50k, not gonna lie. Now I'm truly curious how much did she actually do for this. But just rotation wise, it in a sense it feels right. Because for example, we can then use Volker while Ares is not up. And overall, yeah, let's see. What did she do as kind of like a third wheel to this whole comp? Did she do like maybe 10, 15 extra million, which would be like 1,500 extra blood? Or is it actually more? 17 million, so 17 million translates to around 2,000, around 1,700 blood, which isn't bad. Let's say we subtract her, or let's say we would have used Lunaria, then our score should have only been 4,600. So it's nothing crazy, but yeah. Let's have a look. Why did Ares perform so bad? I mean, 48 million obviously isn't super bad, but it also isn't all that good. Let's have a look at the stats. Honestly, you can't really complain about the stats, nor can you complain about the artifact. So, Ares, what's up, big boy? Why are you performing so badly? So yeah, this has been the last part of this showcase of her. I hope you enjoyed the at least a bit deeper testing, the GR3 showcase, and stay tuned for the 6th of August. Peace!